I'm currently recording this really late at night. If you can't notice, maybe I look a little bit tired. But yeah, I'm going to be gone majority of the day tomorrow, and I want to get this recorded before then. But today, we are going to be doing a discussion video on which is the best Mythic Brawler in Brawl Stars here. So I'm excited for this. We're going to be going over Mortis, Tara, or Tara, however you want to call her, and then also the new Brawler Gene. So definitely like if you guys are excited and you want to see some more discussion videos. You kind of maybe get the gist of this more from my Brawler rankings video and everything, but I'm going to go more in depth on this one, talk about the strengths and weaknesses of all of them, and overall just say which ones I think is the best, and then which one I think is the worst Mythic Brawler. But honestly, all the Mythic Brawlers are pretty solid, so it's not a bad worst. It's like just for the ranking purposes, but I will have gameplay going on in the background of all of them as well. How I'm going to start it off is just discussing all three of them, then intertwine it all. So definitely like if you're excited for this and want to see some more, and let's get into this. So first up, I want to talk about one of like the most interesting brawlers now. Like I just find it so fascinating, this Mortis. Like Mortis was, right when Brawl Stars released, everybody hated him. Like Mortis was, well, not everyone hated him. A lot of the global players liked him, or people that knew how to dribble with him in Brawl Ball and everything. But majority of people thought he was really bad, thought he was weak, didn't know the play style, and that all changed with this last balance change. And now he's like one of the best brawlers in Brawl Stars, which is crazy. Like from going from like kind of like, it's literally going from like kind of like most people in a lot of people's minds worst to first, which is so cool to see him with just a slight change to his damage and his star power. He just does not die. Like it's kind of crazy. The one downside with Mortis though is that he is on the difficulter side to play, so I will factor that in there. But just in terms of if you can master Mortis, he's crazy. He's good in the gem grab. You don't, okay, with Mortis, you do not want to use him as that gem grab carrier unless it's like a last resort. With Mortis, you want to be that aggro brawler. You basically want to run around, be the one that's like pushing back the enemies and keeping that aggressive style. Now, if you have a ton of gems, you can't really have that style because you just be feeding gems to the enemy. So with Mortis, try and avoid gems at all costs in gem grab, unless like it's very necessary, like you maybe picked up a kill and you need to get the gems and then get out of their spawn or just run around. So that's one big thing with Mortis, but he's also very good in bounty. A lot of the bounty maps he's just nasty to deal with, and in the right hands he can just destroy all of the weak brawlers, because you guys know like there's a lot of brawlers like Rico, Brock, Piper, and just weak brawlers in general, and Mortis just thrives on all of them, which is crazy. And he's actually very good in Showdown now. It's tough to think that, but like early on, maybe not so much like in like the lower trophy range, because there's so many shotgun brawlers and those are a good counter to Mortis. But up in the decent, or like I'd say mid to higher trophy range, Mortis is a very good pick in Showdown, because a lot of the Showdown maps are like for longer range brawlers or to mid range like longer brawlers, and he can hold his own as long as he gets some boxes and he can just basically fill off. I don't know, he can just destroy like the lower HP guys or just the people that are almost dead. I just think he's very good in Showdown. Now also in Brawl Ball, I've said this before, honestly I haven't played too much Brawl Ball since the changes to it, with like how you have to, it takes a auto attack when you pass, and the different map styles. So I know some people still try him on Brawl Ball and he is okay, but I'll leave that up to you guys. Do you think he's an okay brawler option? Is dribbling still good with him? I think it would be. It's just a little bit not as effective. So that's okay. And then Heist, you don't want to play him. So, but that's kind of like with every single Mythic Brawler, if you think about it. None of them you really want to play in Heist. So yeah, Mortis is just good overall, and he's a little bit more higher skill cap, but once you master him, he is one of the best brawlers, which is crazy. Now, let's get into Tara. She has like the best super in the game, hands down. This is literally a game changer. Like this, used at the right time, can win you games. In gem grab, she is so scary. Like you have to be on your toes whenever that Tara gets that super, because if she drags you when you have a ton of gems, a lot of times it's gonna end bad for you and you might lose the match. Like you have to be so careful, and if you overextend a little bit when you have that gems, or you just walk just enough where Tara can drag you, usually it's game over. So that super is so game changing, and it kind of does take a little while to get, but up close, if you can hit all three of her cards on her main attack, she does so much damage. She does that piercing damage as well, where it goes through whether it be the power cube boxes or other brawlers and everything. So she is a very nasty brawler to deal with, and especially since she does have that best super. I will update my super rankings and everything, but it's just so devastating. So she's good in gem grab. She can be a nuisance in Brawl Ball. Like you can just literally dictate where you're gonna let the enemies go, kind of like you can use your super to drag them and get the ball off, and also her super does break the walls too. And now excuse me there, in Bounty, I mean, I know some people do try her, but she's not the greatest pick in Bounty because like a lot of the time it's overrun with like the longer range brawlers and everything. She also is very good and can be scary in the showdowns as well, with the reasons we just stated above with her attack and her super. She can definitely fend for herself, but we do drop her a little bit of points. We take into consideration that she's not like this dominant brawler on Bounty and can be played easily on Bounty. So with Heist and Bounty out of the picture, like I said earlier, we're taking Heist. Everyone's not very good in Heist for the Mythic, so we don't take that too much into account. But now let's get into the newest brawler, Gene here. So I just am still very curious after, what is it, like a week now or a week and so with Gene, having probably played against him. If you have unlocked him, playing with him, what are your thoughts on him? Do you think he's needs a buff? Do you think he's balanced? What do you think on him? Maybe you don't have him powered up, or his level isn't high enough to maybe fully gauge, but just your first impressions, I guess, or your first week impressions and everything. For me, having a max level and being able to play against like other max level brawlers, I really think he's in a good spot. I don't think he's like super weak. I don't think he's super strong. If anything, like he might need a little tweak to his super to maybe get it a little bit faster or maybe a little bit easier to drag. Other than that, I don't really, his star power, like it's take it or leave it with that one. It's not too game changing, but like I think he's in a very good spot. Like in gem grab, he can be very scary because it's kind of similar to the Tara super. He can just drag that gem carrier. Now it's kind of difficult though sometimes because the super can be avoided, and if you don't get it, it's kind of like, oh, it's gonna take a while to get my super again. But he has that long range. It's an incredible long range with that super, and it has also his main attack too has that incredible long range where if you land the shot, it does a considerable amount of damage. And then you can also poke and maybe finish off brawlers that are running away when it's like that extended range to it. So he is very, very versatile, very, very good. He's got a decent amount of health, and he does, like I said, probably like a surprising amount of damage. So gem grab, very good. In Bounty, I personally, this is my favorite mode with him. I think one of his best modes. So Bounty, he's got the edge. Like he is very, very solid here, and those are the two that I love playing him. And in Showdown, he's very solid as well because, like I said, he does that sneaky damage where if you land your shots, it really, really adds up. The one downside is he reloads really, really slow, so that can hinder you if you're having to take down a lot of brawlers in the Showdown. But maybe if you play a little bit more passive, pick your spots when you want to go in for the kills, or just drag the weak brawlers and everything, you're good to go. Now with him though, you have to be very careful which brawlers you do drag. Oh, we kind of went over this, like don't get the shotgun brawlers and everything. So like we stated though, not good in Heist. And I'm gonna go by this too, like in Brawl Ball, I'm a little unsure. I feel like he would be pretty solid because he can drag the brawlers, like maybe just drag him away from getting the goal and everything. So I feel like he's okay. He would be okay in Brawl Ball, just in my mind and in theory. But playing in practice, like I haven't played too much Brawl Ball, I had to really need to get on that. I'll leave that one up to you guys. So a little bit up in the air on that, but that doesn't honestly affect too much in the rankings because I'll spoil it here. Gene's number 3. So now we'll just get into like the ranking part here. So yeah, Gene's number 3 because he's like the most balanced. he's a little bit, I don't want to say difficult because he's not difficult to play. He's fairly easy to play. It's just hard to get, like good players will have a team to play with and they will like communicate over like Skype or Discord or whatever, and no one to drag, and that's when Gene is very deadly. When it's like the team's on point, when you drag, you're all around to be able to shred that brawler and everything. So in that sense, he is high skill cap, but just like if you pick up and play him on your own, he still is very easy to pick up and play, and he's pretty good, but he is underwhelming at times, and I feel like it takes a long time and it's a little bit difficult to get used to his slower shots. So that's why we have him at number 3. Like he's not just like this overpowering force that like just dominates unless you get that like a clutch drag, but that is hard to do. So that's why we have another 3 slot. Number 2. I thought long and hard about this, and I did take ease of use heavily into account here. Heavily. I actually ended up putting Tara. This is gonna surprise a lot of people. Let me explain myself here. So Tara is a lot easier to play than Mortis. Tara has the best super in the game. But when in the right hands, and once you learn how to get Mortis, and once you play Mortis, he is just so good. Now, if you don't have the Mortis star power, maybe I would switch this around, because that is a huge part of Mortis's survivability is when he takes someone out, he immediately gets a lot of that health back from regeneration from his star power. So if you don't have the star power, I would probably swap these around. But yeah, Tara, she's so good and so devastating. But the one thing that flipped it for me, I guess, why I'm switching these rankings is like, Tara, good in the showdowns, good in the gem grab, and then good in the brawl ball and everything. Mortis, gem grab, bounty, showdowns, can be good in brawl ball too. And it's just like, that was the main flipping point. And just because with how it is right now, with at least, I guess maybe it's just because of the trophy range I'm at, like a lot of the high like trophy Mortis just control games. They can wreak havoc, and it's just like this guy is just so strong, and he does not die. So I feel like the ceiling with Mortis is just so high compared to where Tara, yes, she has that drag. The one downside to Tara is like it takes a while to get it, and it can be avoided once like the team knows, like if a Tara has that super and they keep eyes on her. A smart like gem carrier or a high bounty person, if it isn't bounty, usually it's not, but would it probably stay away from her. But she does make up for that though in Brawl Ball because she's very solid in that. So it was a very tough choice, but I'm gonna put Mortis ahead right now. Just you could see it reflected in my Brawler rankings and everything. I just feel like he's much more of a nuisance, and he's just so good. So that's how I have it so far. I have Mortis at number 1. Is harder to play though. So keep that in mind. You have to practice a lot with him. Know when you can go in. Really try your best not to auto aim. Even I struggle with that because Mortis actually is. I struggle with Mortis a lot. I need to practice him a lot more. It's just like I'm going off base. Like when I'm facing a really good Mortis, how I see other people playing him, it's just he's crazy. So that is my ranking here. I never thought I would say Mortis would be number 1. When this balance change first came out, I literally was just like, Mortis might do a little bit more damage, but if anything, it's not going to change much. I thought it was actually a nerf to his star power, but looking back on it, that was a dumb assumption. It's a very good change for him, and I was not expecting him to be as good as he is. So that is that, though. This is, like I said, this is just my opinions and everything. You guys can totally agree or disagree. I'm very curious. This is all up for discussion. It's just a discussion video, and I wanted to talk about it because now we have 3, and then I did this before too with the legendaries, so we'll go with that. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Which one is your favorite Mythic Brawler? It doesn't have to be which one you think the best, maybe, but which one do you have the most fun playing? For me, I personally, it's probably because he's new, but I have the most fun playing Gene. I just absolutely love dragging, and then people don't think he does that up close damage when you hit your shots. You can 3-shot him. It's so funny. But that's my thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Sorry if I was a little bit more tired, or I looked tired and everything, or not much the normal enthusiasm. I was a little